You're listening to The Startup with Monique Lore, only on LA Talk Radio.
How's it going, Los Angeles? This is The Startup with Monique Lore. I'm Monique Lore. We finally made it to the new home office. Here we are. We'll be getting some cool signage here soon, but I wanted to just welcome you guys back to our channel, and thank you so much for tuning in. I want to say just a very heartfelt special thanks to Sam. Sam, thank you so much. I always thank him, guys, but he really is in my corner, and he really supports free media. And I just want to point out, guys, that we are a free media channel. We won't be intimidated. We are going to keep streaming content that makes sense here, that supports entrepreneurs and telling the truth. So, things have been happening behind the scenes that I can't share with you guys, but I want you to know that when you come here, you can tell the truth. And, that's what we pride ourselves in. So thank you, Sam, so much for supporting me in the things behind the scenes and helping entrepreneurs and people just get to the bottom of what they need. Also want to thank my sponsors, Michael Solberg Family Wines. Thank you, Leah Solberg, for your continued support. She's one of my best friends and wine partner, as well as a sponsor for the channel. Thank you so much to Shane Hyman over at Next Level Global Solutions. He's awesome. He's a very good person. He's got some great things. He'll have the whole show next week. So tune in for that. It's going to be exciting. Also, I want to thank La Casa del Camino, Felton Calhoun. Thank you so much for your sponsorship and support. And we're right here in Laguna Beach, right in between Los Angeles and San Diego. So for your next staycation, consider staying at La Casa del Camino, and they're famous for their rooftop lounge. All right, guys. Now I have my next guest. We've got Stefanie. Stefanie, how's it going? Welcome to the Startup.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Happy to be here. I'm a big fan of your show.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Well, beautiful. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell people what you've got going?
All right. Well, my name is Stefanie Lattner, and I am the founder and CEO of WeVibin Inc, which is a brain health and wellness company based out of Pittsburgh, PA. So we've developed clinically validated technology that improves cognitive performance for adults. So specifically, that means improving visual and auditory attention for longer durations, decreasing impulsivity or negative reactivity, decreasing frustration when you're stressed, and improving reaction times in terms of consistency.
Wow, this is kind of interesting how timely this is, because as I've been very vocal, I've just went through a really stressful move of this is the new home office. We're still getting it together, but I had to give myself a little mental time out and give myself permission to not be okay for a minute. And I really love that you're diving into this. It seems cliche to talk about mental health. Why do you think that is, Stefanie?
There's a lot of that's an interesting question. There's a lot of buzzword. I think unfortunately with all things, everything gets reduced to a soundbite and then gets lumped into a bucket. And so and that really waters down all of the things that people are feeling and going through when we do that. But it's just I think somewhat human nature, and the way we get the word out is by consolidating it down to simple messages. But then of course, when you're affected by it, you don't want to be the one that gets thrown into a bucket of everybody else, because what you're going through is unique.
Yes. Let's talk about this, because I would really love to know your journey as an entrepreneur, CEO, and getting into this avenue of work. How did this become your ministry?
Yeah, well, it started. So I grew up with a sibling that had a number of different things going on with his brain, and they were all severe. And it was really tough on our family. We went through a lot. We didn't, we were growing up, there was not this focus on mental health at all. So when something happened to anybody, it was a bit of a shock. I don't think the medical community was very mature at the time. And so your families were left with a lot of unanswered questions and lacking the skills of how to deal with a family member that's struggling. And so, that's just set me down a path of being really frustrated and feeling helpless. So I ended up going to school for bioengineering, electrical engineering first, and then bioengineering,
Wow.
and wanting to study the brain to just try to absorb as much knowledge as I could about, what the heck is going on and why is this happening and what can we do to help him. And then that just set a career path where I focused a lot on the brain.
Wow. So we've got a badass, everybody. I mean, Stefanie, you are, talk about a brain. I mean, you are, you are quite impressive, and your resume just is amazing. What a beautiful way to enter into a profession from the heart to help your sibling. And may we ask, is your sibling doing better, or how are they doing?
No, he's unfortunately passed away, and it's just hard.
I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. And thank you for sharing that with us. And, the impact on the brain and the health, can you share some insights on, if we don't get a handle on it, how it might affect your overall health, or if you want to dive a little deeper on why this is important?
Yeah, I think I'd like to take it from the perspective of, and this is a frustration of mine, but I think I think I'm starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel where the world might be changing in terms of the research that's being done, and maybe some thought leaders out there that are really, really crystallizing this in a way for all of us to understand it. But traditionally the brain has been treated as if it's separate from the body, where
Right.
it operates in isolation. And so you look at all of our mental health treatments, and they are all targeted to the brain, as if the brain has nothing to do with the rest of the body. And that would be like treating somebody with a runny nose by, focusing on the receptors in the nose, or giving them surgery to their nose, versus, finding out what is the origin to the problem. So what's starting to emerge is, again, our brains and bodies are connected. How we metabolize everything, metabolize food, metabolize toxins, metabolize medications, all of that affects our body in general and our brain specifically. So that's really where the trend is going, which excites me because I think that's the right track.
Yes, I agree with you. I see things oftentimes in my ads. Calm, shout out to Calm. They're not a sponsor yet, but we would love to get some Calm. Meditation. I was at a volleyball game here in Laguna, and there was about 8 people in unison, just doing a meditation on the grass. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. And they were not distracted. It was a loud volleyball game, Stefanie, and they were in the zone, girlfriend. They were not moving. And I said, okay, it's becoming, I think that, not to blame everything on the pandemic, but a lot of us had to sit still, whether we wanted to or not, and really look at our lives, right? And I think there's a shift. Do you think there's a shift since the pandemic?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And you mentioned this on another one of your podcasts, but it's a complicated shift. It affects everybody. Everyone's reacting to it differently. I think there's a lot of uncertainty. People are questioning literally everything. So maybe the world needed this. We needed to be shaken up in some way to start down a different path. But the world is definitely different after COVID.
Oh yeah. And now, I think it's good to let's go ahead and share, if you don't mind, for a few minutes, your origin story. I know that you shared, your other business, your other professional paths, but do you have any advice or tips for anybody that's getting into the health, wellness, brain, in that sector? Any startup tips or things that maybe could help someone that's looking to go in that direction?
Yeah, I would say, really start with hardcore science, because in my experience, is that there's way too much noise in the marketplace with quick fixes that may or may not be based on really good data. And so understanding understanding the science and then where you want to take the science or what you want to do with your solution is really critical. It's critical for people's health. It's critical for your company's credibility, but you can't take short steps. Like there can't be like a quick, just a quick solution to something.
Yeah, exactly. Putting a piece of tape over a mask over it. I really love that. I had a conversation, since we're keeping it real on the startup today. We always do. I had a conversation with my doctor recently, and just with the level of stress and moving and the film and just all these things that I've got pans in the fire, I had to have a real heart-to-heart with her. And I was really grateful for her candid, real talk. She's like, you know what, Monique, you can do this, you could do that, but this is what's better for you. And I just went back to the basics, Stefanie. I used to be a runner. I used to run track and hurdles. And I said, you know what, Monique, mental grit and fortitude comes from, you got to get back into the gym. For me, you got to get back in the gym and get your endorphins, get it all going back, and stop sitting here and just grinding away at work. You got to give yourself, you're at the beach, go outside. Get back to for me, it was get back to the basics. Yeah. These things come first, and then the emails, the calls, and the stress come later. Or if I have a stressful thing I need to do, I'm doing it while I'm doing my cardio, right? So if I'm with the electronics, it's when I'm giving my body a break.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So where can people find you? Where can they follow up with you? Are you available for consultations? Are you taking new clients? What's your deal, Stefanie?
Yeah, so I'm not a therapist, so we don't do consultations, but you can find us you can learn more about the science behind what we're doing and what we're going to be launching. We have 2 products we're in the process of launching. Nice. Those will hopefully be coming in the very near future, and you can learn more about that on our website at WeVibin.co. Nice. And on Instagram we are WeVibin at WeVibin Inc. And then on X and Facebook, we are at WeVibin USA.
I love that. And maybe you'll come back. Can you give us a little bit of a run up of when you're launching it, or can you give us a little bit more on that? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, 1, I would love to come back and tell you more. And then 2, if it's okay, I'll tell you a little bit about our products that we're launching.
Sure.
So the first is, and I like to use the example of an athlete, because an athlete will if they're optimizing their body performance, they'll take a multi-pronged approach. So they're going to look at nutrition. They're going to look at sleep-wake cycles. You alluded to light intake, like getting enough light. They're going to make sure that their hormones are out of balance, but they're going to also stress their body in the right way. So it's not harmful, but it pushes them. And they also then will track and measure to see what's affecting their performance. So our first product is a software that comes in an app that is a cognitive performance test and a brain training app. Ooh. And it's designed intentionally to stress the brain much in a positive way, much like an athlete would stress their body. So it's building and forming the neural networks needed to improve cognitive performance. But then the power of the app is really testing everything you're doing to see if it moves the needle for you. So if you're doing intermittent fasting or even drinking coffee or doing meditation, the user can test before and after on themselves to see how it affects their brain performance. So that's the first app. And then the second product is an actual therapy device. And it's a headset that is it's basically a way to exercise sensory neurons, which are tightly connected to the attentional networks. So the user gets immediate effects from it. You only wear it for about 20 to 30 minutes. And not only does it calm you and lower your heart rate a little bit, but it puts you in the zone, as you were mentioning with meditation, but it also it exercises those neural networks again that have to do with focus, and it keeps that communication healthy in the brain. So we're super excited about that. We got through clinical trials and the data was very positive.
You know what? I know one thing in this world, Stefanie, when someone is as passionate as you are, coming from what you went through with your sibling, this is going to get done and you're going to help a lot of people. That's one thing I know. And I feel that from you. I would love to sign up and be a tester, guinea pig, whatever you need. Circadian rhythm had been my buzzword. I was traveling around, I don't know if you know, but I was doing 3 documentaries during the pandemic. So I did 20 cities in America in 2020, and I did 40 countries in the last 22 months. And I really stressed my body to the point, and so we have one more trip, but I think that this technology is going to change people and help people so much.
We hope so. Yeah, we hope so.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being here, and give us your website one more time, please.
Yep. WeVibin, WeVibin.co.
Beautiful, Stefanie. Well, whenever you're out here, we'd love to have you at one of our events. I think we could really benefit from that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll take you up on that.
All right, Stefanie, be well. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
All right. There's a lot of good stuff going on, guys. Stefanie's got some great technology on the horizon for mental health and overall wellness. And as entrepreneurs, we have to keep ourselves in one piece. As a friend, a colleague, a fellow associate in South Africa, Peter, I'm going to be working with him. He's like, Monique, I need you to show up here in one piece. And I took his advice and took a little, couple weeks down to make sure I'm okay. And you know what? Your body will tell you. All right. Well, I think some of our other guests are outside enjoying the sunshine, and I don't blame them because it's a beautiful Sunday here. So guys, be back here with us next week with Shane Hyman from Next Level Global Solutions. Have your laptops ready. We're going to download all the stuff he's talking about with the finance, equity, and investing. And thank you so much for being here, guys. What else? Let's make sure to just take a time out for ourselves, and as entrepreneurs, again, really pay attention to what our body's telling us. I think Iyanla, when I met her last year around this time, but Iyanla Van Zandt would always say the acronym PAIN, pay attention inward now. So if you've got, as an entrepreneur, we've got to pay attention to what we're doing, because if we shut down, the whole thing shuts down. And I am a person that just go, and your body will tell you, you can't do nothing right now. So don't get to that point. But I'm grateful for friends and family and you guys still being here, still going strong. And again, we are a free speech, free enterprise show. We won't be intimidated. We're going to keep doing what we do. And we want the best. So if you've got something you want to say, or if you're a business and you want to share your thoughts and you feel like you need a place that's safe, we are a neutral place that is safe, that you can come say that respectfully and responsibly, of course. All right, what else? I think I've got one more announcement. I don't know if I can share it yet, but I will. Let me give a shout out to Hope 929, to Uncle Selwyn and Liz. We've got some cool things coming down the pike there. And I will be back with you next week. Until then, be well, be safe. What will you start up today? See you soon.
You're listening to The Startup with Monique Lore, only on LA Talk Radio.